to Giant TV. Let me share my screen here. Make sure everybody can see this. Okay, so thanks for being here. This is awesome. I do this every Tuesday, California time, 9 a.m. And what this is about is how to stand out from the crowd. And there's so much competition today for all of us. And I'm going to jump into how to be different, how to build authority, how to be the expert in your niche. But I want to talk about the sort of the competition before I get into these foundational tools here. And maybe you're a business coach, maybe you're a tax professional, a lawyer, real estate professional, mortgage, doesn't matter. There just is a lot of noise today, and all of us are trying to get in front of high level prospects. Maybe you're working with business owners or CEOs, maybe C-suite executives or whoever it is. There just is a ton of competition. And unfortunately, most people, when they're out there interacting, showing up in places, they all look the same. They're not differentiating themselves. And it's a missed opportunity because there's incredible tools, strategies that you can embrace to really carve out your niche. And the reason it's so important is because you've really got to get the attention of the people you're trying to work with. And how are you going to stand out from somebody else? Why are they going to take your phone call or attend your event or look at your email? Whatever the case is, it's because you're different. And so that's the reasoning behind standing out. Is when you put the time and the effort to embrace these tools, then the conversions for you for even getting people on a phone call skyrocket. So I want to talk about these five foundational tools, and then I'm going to get into some specifics on the virtual events, because this is just an incredible channel that I have excuse me, a lot of success with and teach others how to utilize. And so when I'm talking to people about building their business and nurturing their business, most don't have the foundational components in place to grow and nurture the business. And so the build is choppy. People start and stop things. They pay too much money for stuff they probably don't need. And there just isn't identifiable and repeatable processes that allow for a smooth build. And I work with a lot of Vistage chairs. It's a CEO peer-to-peer advisory group, other coaches, law firms, you name it. And it just is a common thread that unless you have the right tools and pieces in place, your build is going to be choppy, bubblegum and toothpicks. So whether you're a brand new business just starting out, whether you're a solopreneur or a bigger business, or whether you're a more mature business, take a step back and look at your five components that I'm showing you here. Do you have these five? Do you have any components? And let's walk through why these are important. So the personal brand is hugely important today because people want to do business with other people. Even if you're with, a firm where you've got other employees, you're the leader of the firm, you want to get out there and elevate your personal brand. People are checking you out today and making value judgments about you. Should they get on a phone call with you, attend your event, certainly buy your product or service, and your brand has got to stand out. And you want to control that story. I don't ever want people making misjudgments about who I am, what I do, my value proposition. And this is stuff that goes into your personal brand. And I'll talk a little bit about the components of it. But on the outside, people looking at you, brand is important. Think about it in real life. If you're walking in to a networking event in real life, we all do this. I missed many dinners with my family over the years going to the networking events. But you walk in, and let's say there's a room full of your prospects there, and they're A-listers. You would want to have your A game on walking into that room. You want to look right. You want to have, your pitch down on what you do, how you describe yourself. You You wouldn't stand in a corner, and you wouldn't look disheveled. You'd show up and you'd stand out. So it's no different on the platforms like LinkedIn and others. You've got to show up and look your best. It's going to help the cause. And so people are looking at you, very important. The platforms are also looking at you. LinkedIn in particular is looking at you and scoring you from 1 to 100. It's called your social selling index. 1, you're lousy, 100, you're great. And they put a lot of importance in this. They did a study. There's 4 quadrants they look at, which includes some branding, video stuff, and engagement, all these pieces. But if you're not following those guidelines and you haven't elevated your brand the way they look at it, they're going to make you irrelevant on the platform. You're not going to get seen by people. They're going to push you down. They don't even want you on the platform. So really, really important for that reason too. You're getting looked at by LinkedIn, and all the platforms are that way. The algorithms are looking at you and pushing you up or shoving you down. So the branding's huge. And the branding, there's a whole branding discussion that takes place, but when you elevate it, you're talking about what is your value proposition? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And why are you better than the competition? That goes into the branding because it's part of your messaging. It's also the branding is what are the colors, the fonts that represent you, the images that represent you. These things matter. If you're showing up in all these different places and getting out there and making noise, got to be consistent. What is that story? How do you want to appear to people that are looking at you? And your brand is about the storytelling, and the value you're delivering goes into your brand. And of course, all the branding collateral pieces that you develop to support all this, from LinkedIn banners, YouTube banners, the email templates, need to be consistent. And so that's a bit about branding, but you've got to just nail this and have this looking great. Let's get into this. So another component is marketing. So obviously big companies like Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble would never say we're not going to market our product. Of course they all do. So why would you or me or any solopreneur or smaller business, smaller from Coca-Cola, why would any of us say we don't need to market? We do. And so it's just that they get into this mindset when you're a smaller business coach or something that that you don't really think about marketing as a robust component of your business. It's like other things are going on. You're busting out cold calls. You're trying to get referrals, and there isn't a really concerted effort to look at what really is marketing for you and how do you get out there. And so video marketing, video content, no argument today. You got to have video working for the build out and nurture of your business. All the stats bear it out. HubSpot puts out a report every year on the state of video, and they interview CEOs, C-suite executives, marketers like me, and they say, okay, tell us about video, what's going on. And your prospects are saying, and the stats are exploding, that we'd rather learn about your product or service by watching a video versus reading about it. So in a sense, you become a grocery store. People are shopping, they want something, you need to provide it. You got to have it on the shelf. And that's what video content is about. And it just resonates with people. They want to watch a video. I recently read the top 3 most visited sites in the world are TikTok, Google, and YouTube. Talk about video. And so it's just, you've got to figure out a way to do this. And it's not about having to become a Hollywood star, spend a lot of money on equipment. Not at all. It's about understanding how to do it, the value that you can deliver through your videos. So I've got a whole video strategy I talk about, but you just need to understand this component and get video content out there. And it's got to be original content. Okay, selling. So if marketing is the long game of see me, see me, see me, and you've got that going, the short game is selling, and it's the ask, and the marketing supports the selling. So as you're asking people to do things, go to my event, get on a Zoom, certainly buy my product or service, the marketing supports that. You can't just ask people cold over and over to do something if they don't know you. You haven't built, the knowability, likability, trust factor. So, selling is the ask, and these are lead generation campaigns. You're just building out your community, and this also goes into foundational tools to stand out and be different. Do you think about this question? Do you have an identifiable and repeatable process for getting in front of people you want to talk to and into conversations? Yes or no? Maybe you have a little bit of something going on, I don't know. But usually I find that lead generation, I'm not talking about used car, salesperson stuff here, jamming product and, being a spammer and all that. I'm talking about doing it in a very professional way, but it's just reaching out and having conversations. All of us need to be having conversations every single week with people we want to work with or network with or whatever the case is. You just got to be having those discussions. And if you don't have a process where those are just being set up, you're in discussions, filling your pipeline, then you're going to have a problem. It's going to be start and stop, start and stop. So this is important. And here in this section, there are great tools. You can automate, you can scale this, and you can really get this machine going where you're connecting with people and having great conversations and building the proper messaging into reaching out. What do you say? Because an outbound lead is different from an inbound lead, right? An inbound lead, they know they got a problem. They're looking for a solution. You have a specific conversation with that person. An outbound lead, they don't know you. They don't know they have a problem. They didn't call you. You called them or you reached out to them. Different conversation. So things like that really go into this, and it matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. So you got this. Okay. Then you've got the vlog, and you got to have this component. This is your email. So this is an email that goes out, and what makes or breaks email are things like consistency, the email look, the way you construct that email, the look of it, what you say in the email. Are you in tune to email subject lines and copywriting, or you just throwing out some, junk filled newsletter that nobody's reading and it's just going out there? Are you tracking the stats? Are people opening your email? Are they clicking through things? Are you having calls to action in the email? Are people booking calls with you? I mean, all these things to understand if email's working. Do you have a process to collect email and get it into your distribution system? So I'd say by far, not, people I start working with don't have an email campaign going on. And people poo-poo this. Well, email's dead, or, nobody reads email anymore. Not true. And I can tell you all the top marketing people on the planet, anyone who's got a marketing program going on is using email. We all use it, and it can be very effective if done right. But you got to get this going. I say a vlog because it's the repurpose of a video into an email. So as you're shooting video, goes into email. But again, I have whole videos on each of these pieces, but this is a nurture vlog component. You've got to have email going out and doing it the right way. This is what I'm going to break down right now, virtual events. And this really gets into building authority, standing out from everybody else. So now you got all these other pieces here. Now you're doing these virtual events. And let me jump into this. And so what are virtual events? I want to get into the what, the why, and the how. And so the virtual events, first of all, you got to create your show. So it's your show. And this is where you think about a show you can do monthly, maybe every couple of months to start. I've got 2 live LinkedIn shows every week and doing live stuff every day, shorter things. But my point is develop your show. So we develop a show with everybody we're working with, and this is what we do. We say, okay, you're a business coach. Who do you want to work with? Well, I want to work with, owners of closely held businesses, whatever the case is. Okay, what are their problems? What are their challenges? What are they facing? What are they dealing with? Put yourself in their shoes. You know them the best, and start thinking about content that can help them. This is not content for you, it's content for them. How can you help them? How can you teach them? How can you educate? This is the content that goes into your show. Now you brand this show. You come up with a unique brand. This is really fun. So this is where you you come up with a brand. I've got Wealth Protector TV. I've got Giant TV, which you're on now. And uh, you know, the reason you have a brand and you run your shows through it is people become familiar with it. It's like an old shoe in the closet. They love it. And and uh and they just get used to your show and the name, and maybe you have some nice image around it. So we brand the show, and that's a fun exercise. Now you have your show brand. Now you start thinking about content. There's never a problem to come up with content for your show or these shows. There's tons of places for inspiration. If you know your clients, then you know what they care about. Let's say you're working with closely held business owners. Well, they care about succession planning. They care about corporate culture. They care about retaining key employees. These are the things they care about. They care about liability. Business owners getting sued and stuff. We do a lot of content around that for one of my businesses. I build out a law firm. And so point is, you understand that, and then you start thinking about content for that. Your show, run it about 25, 30 minutes up to 45 minutes in length is sort of the framing of it. And this is going to be a LinkedIn Live using LinkedIn event and incorporating Zoom, which I'll show you here in a minute. So the only limit to how creative you can be with your show and what you come up with is the limit of your imagination. So there is no ceiling. And these are great discussions to have. So you develop your show now. We talked about the valuable content, and why you do these shows is because when you start doing these with consistency and you get out there, you immediately start building authority, and people see you, and you get to engage with your top prospects. The way these shows can be built and marketed and you can get out there is the right people are going to see your show, because there are ways to get this content, your show, in front of the exact people that you want to work with. And this is what we want. We want to build authority. We want to stand out. And you have an opportunity right now to do this. There are very few people doing it, and the tools are there. And most of the tools to make this happen are free. So again, this isn't about spending money. It's not a huge time-sucking endeavor either. Once you figure this out, it's very efficient, and you're consistent, you make it happen. And the results, when you do this right, are incredible, with engaging, getting people on a phone call, and then doing what you do best, and start to work with people. So this is the why of doing it. Here's the how of setting this up. So you've developed your show, you've branded it, you've got the content, it's gonna be about 25, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and your show can be you can have a guest on it. I've got some clients that they constantly have a guest on their show, like somebody who's an expert in corporate culture. I've done a few of those, and they do this show. They get great engagement. People come on board, these business owners, and as an example, so they're the host and they have a guest on there, and that's how they run their show. But you develop your show, whatever it is for you. Now, when you're doing your show, you pick a date. First thing, I always say, whenever you're doing an event, the hardest thing is getting off the ground is when are we going to do it? And I got to do all these other things. Just pick a date, because then it gets you motivated, gets a time frame going. Then you put your show together, and it can be live. You can pre-record it and stream a pre-recorded video. Again, there's a big discussion there about those two paths and the strategy. But bottom line is, you have your show ready to go. Okay. You set up Zoom with Restream. Now, you're going to do a Zoom event, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. So you set up your Zoom. Restream is a third-party streaming app that LinkedIn requires in order to stream live on the platform. And you can also, with Restream, you're streaming to YouTube, maybe you have a Facebook company page, whatever channels you're showing up and you want to have an audience see you, you're hooking up to Restream. third-party streaming app. They got a free version and you can pay and level up and so forth. But for your show, set up Zoom, integrate it with Restream. Those two speak to each other. Then you set up an email nurture. So let's say you pick a date for 3 weeks out. You're going to do your show. You set up Zoom, connected it with Restream. In Restream, you've connected your channel. So Restream, you connect LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, for example. Now you have email. You set up emails to go out at least one a week. You could send out more when you have 3 weeks, but you send out emails, hyping your event, talking about it, the value of what you're doing, and you're getting people through email to sign up for the Zoom event, okay? So they're going to Zoom. Everybody's online today. Everybody knows Zoom. So your email list is going out to talk about the event, and they sign up on Zoom. They register, and you make them register. So you click the name and email address so you know who's showing up. So so you send out the emails, and there's a way to do that, and you can even automate the email. So you just initially send out 3, and they just go out automatically leading up to the event. Then you set up, there's a process to set up direct messaging to your top prospects. So you're going to set this up, and you're going to direct message your top prospects, and you can again scale this and automate this. So on LinkedIn, your top prospects, they're going out, and the ones you're connected to on LinkedIn for direct message, inviting them to the LinkedIn event. Because when you set up Zoom with Restream, what happens is the Restream platform automatically sets up a LinkedIn event. Okay, now we all have this feature. It's free. You got it, I got it, we all have it. And we all have LinkedIn Live. You should have it. It used to be you apply for it. Now they rolled out for everybody. It's free, but some people still don't have it, but most do. So now you have this LinkedIn event set up, and you Restream automatically sets it up. And there's a way to customize that in Restream, so you have a thumbnail that shows up with the LinkedIn event, but that goes out. And so this is what you're doing. Zoom with Restream. Restream sets up the LinkedIn event. You're setting up emails to go out, and then you're direct messaging your prospects that you're connected to in LinkedIn for the event. So that's the marketing. And in the LinkedIn event portal, which I'll show you, they just updated the LinkedIn event portal. You can invite first level connections to the event through the LinkedIn event portal. And I'll show you what that looks like. So the execution is schedule your emails with the Zoom link, invite first level connections via the LinkedIn event portal. So you can, once you set up the event, Restream sets it up, you go into the event portal, and there's an invite function in there, and you can bulk invite people in there, and there's some search functionality in the LinkedIn event portal, but you're doing that. So now you're inviting people, and they get pulled into the LinkedIn event, and you're going to be live streaming on the LinkedIn event portal. So they're not going to Zoom. Anybody in your LinkedIn ecosystem there, they're going to be watching it on LinkedIn. Your email people that you're inviting will be watching it through Zoom. So maybe somebody signs up through Zoom, and you'll have others watching on LinkedIn. Then you schedule your DMs, your top prospects I mentioned. A few next level things is when you set up this LinkedIn event, people get pulled into it, and you can network with them. There's a new tab there in the LinkedIn event portal called networking. And before, during, and after the event, you're networking with them. You're, as they get pulled in, hype them up on the event, because people get pulled in, and whether they show up or not is different, and people bail for different reasons. But so you hype it up, engage with them before, during the event. As you're live streaming, you can engage with people on the LinkedIn event portal. And then after the event, you can also engage with them. They get pulled into the LinkedIn event portal, and they're there for you to engage with afterwards. That event doesn't get deleted. It stays in your in your LinkedIn account there, profiles, site, and you can engage afterwards. Follow-up activities, you're sending the recording to everybody that registered for the event, whether they showed up or not. And even if they did show up, nice message sent afterwards with the recording. And it's automatically recorded on Restream. And it also, the recording shows up in the LinkedIn event portal and your LinkedIn news feed. So this is what the LinkedIn event portal looks like. It's an event we did. See, this is the one on culture. This is the culture expert, David Friedman, incredible guy. But so this is the LinkedIn event, set it up. Great attendance for this one. Had hundreds attending for this event. And this is the brand snapshot here, pulled people in to the LinkedIn event portal. This is where you can network with people. These are the people that got pulled in. You can send messages and network. So it's awesome for doing that. So that's what it looks like. And here's the big picture in all of this. You saw those 5 foundational components, okay? So you get those up and running, make sure those are airtight. Now you're doing the virtual events every month, every 60 days, and you are just consistently doing this. And what you are going to see is you are going to attract an audience, and the right people are going to find you, and you're going to start engaging. You're going to be looked at as the expert in your niche immediately when you do this, because others aren't doing this. There's a small fraction of us and that are even doing this. And so the sky's the limit with this. It's the Wild West out there to take advantage of these tools: LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn events, getting Restream, Zooming it, all these things, and making it happen. And if you do this over and over, what you'll see is you get this machine that's moving forward, and you've got these processes that are working for you. Because if you're a coach, you've got a coach and you're working, but you have this machine going, and it's the gas that fuels the car, and it moves forward for you. And so that's my focus. And this is how you stand out and make a lot of noise. And by the way, as you're doing this, the content's getting posted. So as you're doing videos, I didn't go into that, not enough time. It's not the topic of this discussion here, but the video is getting repurposed that you're shooting. Those marketing videos that you're doing, the short snack size ones, you do about maybe 3 of those a month, and those get repurposed. So you have a bunch of content going out from that video, and which are images, text posts. That's how we work it. So it really, you're really making a lot of noise. You're the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. Now, what I'll tell you is reach out to me. If you have questions on your own build or nurture, anything I've said here, I know this is kind of a, speaking from a fire hose here. There's a lot of pieces here. It gets technical in certain areas. Always love giving back, helping out where I can. So get a hold of me. My contact information is around this video, wherever you're watching this, because I'm streaming this everywhere. I think we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe Twitter. A lot going on with Twitter these days. And I don't know where we are. We're all over the place. But around me, up here, down below, you'll find it. And I'm going to stop sharing here. And I just want to say thanks so much for being here. And we'll see you next time.